Hi, and welcome to my tutorial on how to set up a Wix blog. Um, so there are a bunch of videos on YouTube for how to set up a Wix blog, but for our course, Journalism 200 Multimedia, there's really nothing that suits our purposes very well, so that's why I'm creating this one. Um, and basically, what I'll show you how to do is how to set up a site that looks like this. Um, where basically you've got three kinds of assignments that you're going to be uploading to your site. One's going to be photojournalism, another is going to be your audio stories and your slideshows, and your third is going to be your reflections. At the end of the semester, you're going to create a final project, and we'll talk about changing templates and what might be ideal for that. But for most of the semester, a simple design like this should be able to get you all the way through. There's definitely, Wix is an incredibly versatile and powerful platform, and so there's definitely a lot that you can do with it, and I encourage you to really explore it. Really just take you an afternoon of playing around to open it up, and your learning curve is going to be really fast, surprisingly so, I would think. Um, but this is just to get you started. So the first thing you want to do is sign up for the site. So I'm signed up right now. You're going to have something, you're going to look at a page like this, and you're going to just create an account. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Creating an account straightforward, obviously. And then the good news is that you're able to create multiple sites with your account. But let's create a new one. And so we need to find the ideal kind of a template for it. So we hit create new site and we get all these options. Now the thing to be aware of is that if you look at news websites, they're really designed in a certain kind of way. For one thing, they're designed to really guide your eye through a lot of content. There's a really rich interplay here and a really specific one of headlines and images. It's very text heavy, but you can see clearly what's the main story, and then there's a hierarchy to how they're giving you the stories. If you look at the New York Times, for example, it's the same kind of thing. It's very busy. Now, if you go back and look at the contrast with the kind of sites that we'll get in the blog, you'll see it's very different. So I'm going to say choose a blog. If just to go back for a second, you'll see none of these really say news. If you look on your site, this is what they call their news template, but it's really not that much radically different than any of these other templates. So you can use that, but I'm not sure that that there's really a significant, it really matters that much. So you go to choose a template, and then you can see that you're just going to try and look for whatever is going to work best for you to put up a bunch of stories and deliver them in a really engaging kind of way. I found this one kind of worked best for me. I mean, some of them have, this is a common thing where they actually give you a bunch of options for stories, but there's no real effort to play a main story up or another story. So you can look around for that, but I'm going to go with this one. And like I said, I'm going to try and make our site look just like this. So I'm going to choose this to edit. And now you're going to see some basic things about the template. You've got your main menus that you use to interact over here. And I'll show you basically just most directly what you need to know about all of this in order to do what you need to do. So let's say I want to change this part, because obviously I don't want to go with what the template is giving me here. So I want to change this. If I go back and I look, this one says Mediasaurus. I'm going to keep read all about it because that suits our purposes pretty well. So, whoops. I'm going to go in there and type media. And so as you can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and then as soon as I do it, it says text edit. And I think I can probably double click. Yeah, and that'll let me enter. It's kind of a triple click, or I can just hit edit text there to get in. And then I'm going to type in Mediasaurus, and that part's done. And now I want it to look like this. So how do I do that? Well, that's really pretty simple. You just hover over it, you hit change design, and click on that. And there you, whoops. So that's the one I'm going to pick. So as you can see, there are different designs, and there's actually quite a lot of options, quite a lot of colors. There's ways to do coordinated colors. That's really pretty simple, but I'm going to leave that alone for now. The next thing I want to do is change this so that we get it to look like this. So how do I do that? Well, what I do is I hover over this and I hit change strip background, and then these options come up. So I can scroll through here and see maybe that would work. Is that going to work for me? It's okay. I don't know that I'm going to find the exact image that I found before. But, let me look a little bit deeper just because that'll give you an idea of just how many options are here. So I want an image. I could have some kind of a looped video going on there, but I'm going to still keep it relatively simple. So I'm going to go for just a static image. And then I'm going to type in water, so I can kind of search for whatever I want by using that search box. And you can see all these options here. I'm looking for one that at least kind of looks like what I had before. And I keep scrolling a little bit farther until I find what I want. Oh, getting close maybe. That pattern in there. Not quite there. It's taking a little while to load. So you're going to want to go through and then select it, and then just hit change background. So I'm going to use that. And there it is. It's not quite that. It's a bit different, but it's a pretty similar idea. Okay, so now that you've created the top part of your site, just the basic strip up here, I'm going to show you two different ways to create menus so that people who visit your site can navigate their way around. And I'm going to call these two different ways. I'm going to call the first way of creating menus the pages system of menus, and I'm going to call the second type of menu system the blog system. Okay, now I'm going to show you briefly the pages system, but I'm going to recommend that you use the blog system, and I'll explain why in a moment. So let me first show you what I mean by the pages system. In order to create menus across the top here through the pages system, you would click on this, menus and pages. Okay, and now what you would do is under the site menu, you would add pages, which are going to appear up top here as menu options. So for this class, I'm going to suggest that you create categories or menus based on the categories of work that we're going to be doing. So we're going to create one menu, and I've got to pick a template, but none of these templates are really ideal for our purposes, so it doesn't matter so much, but I'm going to just use the simplest one, and it's going to be this one, and I'm going to call this photojournalism. And now I'm going to create the rest of them. Okay, so I've created menus so far for our photojournalism, audio and slideshows, graphic design assignments. I'm going to create one now for all the reflections, because we're going to do a reflection for each assignment that you do. You're going to do a reflection. So you're going to want to put all your reflections somewhere. And you can move these down that way. And I would suggest also adding one for your National Public Radio reflections, which is the reflections that you're going to create when you listen to radio stories and write about what you learned from listening to them. So I'm going to call this NPR reflections. And I'm going to delete this one. Okay, now we have the menus set up. And I'll show you a little bit about how you can manipulate those. So if I try and click on a menu here while I'm in editor, nothing happens. Okay, I'll show you how to preview these. You basically use the preview button. But before I get to that, let me just adjust this. So I click on it. This will enable me to manage the menu, which will again bring that up. Or what I want to do right now actually is just expand this so you can see the whole thing and then center it as best I can. And it gives you a guide to do that. Now, if I'm in editor, like I said, if I try and push on one of the menu items here to go to the page, I can't do that because I'm in the editor. Okay. How would I be able to actually operate these? Well, I can preview the site before I publish it. So I would hit preview. Now I'm in preview mode. Now I can click. Now these buttons work. See? So, and what I can do is I can test it out, see that that's working, and then go back to editor by selecting that button. Now once I'm in here, if I want to go from page to page or menu item to menu item, I use this pull down menu and I can navigate to my different pages. They all look the same, so you're not going to see much of a difference, but I am moving from different menu to menu. So okay, that's one way to set up menus for your site so that people can navigate around. I'm not going to recommend the pages system. Why not? Well, it looks good in terms of having the menus right up top like that, but just to give you an example, let's take a quick look at my syllabus site. So to navigate over to my syllabus, I've set up my syllabus with the pages menu system, but I've got lots of content that's all stuck together on one page. So this is all essentially one posting, right? The thing is, if I give you 3 or 4 photo assignments, or you create 3 or 4 different photo projects in a semester, each of those is going to be content that you would want in your photojournalism menu, right? So like, for example, if you look at this, I've got different student stuff here, but each thing here is taking up a lot of space. These are all slideshows. Now we're into graphic design, but I'm scrolling. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at the New York Times website for a second. Notice that there's lots of stories on the New York Times page. And so when I click on one of them, I'm just getting a tease of this, right? There's actually 2 stories here. And when I click on one of them, I get in here and I see the full, that's where it really opens up, right? But on the actual landing page, I'm just getting a box, and then this is kind of a box within this box, right? So if I go to politics, I've got all these different stories here, okay? We don't get that with the menu system on Wix. It's just not set up for news content that way, or lots of stories competing with each other. So in order to create something where we're teasing each story, but there's still a menu to work with, we're going to use the blog system. So remember, I told you there's 2 systems for setting up menus. There's the pages system. this is the pages system, and there's the blog system. So I'm going to quickly go in here and delete these menus because we're going to use the blog system. We don't want two competing menu systems. So okay, and I'm deleting the last of those menus. So now we're just back to one single menu, the home page, and I'm going to close this. Okay, so what do I mean by the blog system, and how do I set up blog menus and posts? So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit add, and you can add lots of different items on your Wix site, including boxes where you've got your video content and your or your sound content. So you can basically drop in a box of a YouTube video that you've created by uploading your video to YouTube, or a box with your sound content, which you can upload to SoundCloud and store it there. I'm going to recommend that you store all video and all sound on either YouTube or on SoundCloud if it's sound. So video I would store on YouTube, sound I would store on SoundCloud, as opposed to trying to store it on Wix itself, because Wix gives you a very limited amount of storage space. But in this add menu, so I'm here on the main page, I go to add, you will see an option that says blog. Okay, I'm going to do blog, and I'm going to add a blog to the site. Okay, so now there may already be a blog, like this template came automatically with a blog that looked like this. Well, it's not showing it because I already wiped it out, but this came automatically with a blog. I've already erased the blog, but now that I'm adding a blog of my own with a blank slate, I can choose the different layout for the thing. So if I don't want this layout, I can delete this blog. Well, basically I can add this format and delete this one, I think. Well, let me, no. Okay, so that one's already embedded there, but basically you're able to if you want, create different blog layouts. That would have given me a different blog layout. And once you have added the blog to your page here, you want to go in and add menus. So the menus are going to run across the top like that, and then you're going to add posts, and so the posts each fit within different menus. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So what you do is you click within the box, and this button manage posts is going to appear. So if I'm clicked outside of the box, it's like this. If I click inside the box, that manage post button comes up. I hit manage posts, and what I'm calling menus, Wix calls categories. So I'm now in the manage blog function, and so I'm going to go to categories, and I'm going to start creating menus. So I'm going to create one called photojournalism, and then I'm going to create the rest of the menus just like we had done before. Okay, so as you can see, now I've created menus for all the different kinds of work that we're going to be producing this semester, except the final project. Why don't I have one for the final project created here? Well, because with the final project, you're going to be combining different kinds of media all onto one screen. So you're probably going to want to either create a separate page for that, or even a separate site. And let me show you. We're not going to have it, we don't have any posts up yet, but let me show you basically at least what the menus look like at this point. So if you go to the site now, you've got the menus across the top. Now they're not across the top here as they would be in the pages system, but you've got menus on your website now. Okay, so now that I have my menus set up, I'm going to start creating posts. So how do I do that? I click in the box again, hit manage posts, and I'm ready to create my first post. Okay, now I'm going to say this is a photojournalism post. So how do I do that? Well, I hit create. Now I don't want to call this like photo assignment or photojournalism assignment number 1 because that's boring and telling everyone I'm just a student, never mind me. You want this site to be like a portfolio for yourself, so give it a catchy title. I'm going to call mine Hipster Spotting in Kaka'ako. Okay, and what I would do now is I would add text, and since it's a photo assignment, images to this post. So that's pretty simple to do, and when I add text here, Wix is going to kind of tease this within the post, what you're going to see on the landing page. I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. But on trend spotting on a trend spotting Safari, and here's what I found. Okay, so I added some text that's going to tease on the page, but I could keep writing. And then I'm going to add my photos. So how do I add photos? Well, let me go back for a second. I hit add, and you can see I have all these different options. I could add a video. I could add my sound that I've uploaded in SoundCloud, but in this case, I'm going to add a photo. So right now I don't have any photos in my photo library. Well, I'm going to go to what I've got saved on my computer, and voila, I've got a photo. And so I'm going to drop the photo in here. And select it, add it to the page. Notice I can resize it with these bars here. I've got these options for the layout of my post. And now I want to assign this post to one of my menus, or it could be more than one. So I go over to the left side, I hit categories, and this is a photojournalism post, so I'm going to select that. And now I'm ready to publish. So notice that Wix kicks out a address here. Don't use this. This is for the editor. So if you share this with people, all they'll get is a login page. Whenever you publish, you're going to get a link. That's the link that you want to share. Okay, so now that you're ready to publish, notice this. This is very important. So when you go to publish, I'm going to back up for a second, and you go back into edit, you hit publish, this window automatically pops up. Now, if you're in your actual Wix editor itself, I'm going to get out of the blog for a second. Same thing. If I go to publish, this window pops up. When you share with me or with anybody that you want to share your site with, you need to grab this URL, this web address, okay? So I can go click on it and hit Command C to copy it, okay? But if I go to this up here, this isn't shareable. In other words, if I copy and paste this, or copy and try and share this, and somebody else opens it, all they're going to get is a Wix login page. They're not going to get to my site. So you need to hit publish and then grab the URL that appears, or grab a URL as a web address. So you grab the web address that appears here. Okay. So I'm going to go back into my posts and show you, you've already kind of peeked at it there, but basically, you know, I'm in here, I go to publish, I publish, and then this is what it looks like. And if I go to preview, I can see, if I open it up, it would give me the full view. It's a pretty small post, so you don't see much there. So just one other quick example. I'm going back to editor for preview of creating a post, just so that I make sure that you guys get it, and how to assign that to a menu in here. So we're going to create an audio post. So I'm going to click within here, go to manage posts, and I'm going to create a new post, and I'm going to call this one, this is going to be, let's say this is the audio story that I did for this class. I'm going to call it Hipsters Go All In for, I don't know, craft beer and fancy facial hair. And we talk to, no, let's do it this way, hipsters, let's do Kakoako's hipsters are very excited about their fancy beards and Lilikoi craft beer. Okay, so now I'm going to add audio to this. So how do I do that? Well, first thing I need to do is make sure that I've uploaded an audio file, the audio file I want to use, to SoundCloud. Like I said, I don't want to save it on my Wix site, so I'm going to save it on SoundCloud. So you want to create a SoundCloud site or SoundCloud account here, and then once you've done that, click upload, and now you just simply drag and drop. So I've got a audio file here somewhere. Grab it. Here it is. So I'm now just going to grab that and drag it in. So where is it? Hipsters. And it's going to upload. Okay, and now that I have that file, I'm going to copy this link, and I'm going to go back to my Wix editor. I'm going to go plus to add sound, and there is my SoundCloud option. I click on that, I paste in the link that I just created, and I would play it for you, but the screencaster that I'm using won't allow you to hear it, so there's no point. But basically I just say hipsters go all in for craft beer and fancy facial hair, and I hit, well, now I've got to assign it to a menu. So I go here, this is my audio story, so I assign it there, and now I go publish, and let's take a look at what all this looks like. So I'm actually just going to exit out of there, exit out of my blog, go to preview, and I am now in preview, so these menus will work. Under all posts, I can see that I've got both posts. Under photojournalism, I've just got this, and under audio slideshows, I've just got this, and that's pretty much everything you need to know to get started in Wix. So I hope this was helpful. Email me at gorbach@hawaii.edu if you have any questions, but give it your best shot, and we will talk about this more in class. Good luck.